Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, life just isn't moving forward? You find yourself stuck in the same place, overwhelmed by worries and unsure of what steps to take next. It's like you're pushing against a wall, and no matter how much effort you put in, it feels like nothing is changing. Maybe you're facing challenges that seem insurmountable, whether it's problems with work, family, your health, or just feeling lost in life. You wonder why things don't improve, and you might even start to feel like it's all out of your control. We've all been there at some point, stuck, anxious, and unsure of how to move forward. It's easy to feel defeated, especially when we're constantly trying to solve everything ourselves. We spend so much time thinking, planning, and worrying about what to do next, but still feel like we're going around in circles. It's exhausting, isn't it? But the truth is, you don't have to keep pushing on your own. Islam offers us a way out, a way to break free from the cycle of worry and frustration. There's a dua, a powerful prayer that has the ability to change everything for you, to help you move forward, regain peace, and find clarity. This isn't just a quick fix or a temporary solution. This dua is a way to reconnect with Allah, to ask for His guidance, and to trust that He is always with you, even in the moments when it feels like you're stuck. It's about shifting the focus from worrying about how to handle everything on your own to surrendering to Allah's will and letting Him lead you through your challenges. When you make this dua, you're not just asking for help. You're trusting that Allah has a plan for you, one that's better than anything you can imagine. And with that trust, everything starts to shift. You begin to feel lighter, more focused, and more confident in the path ahead. This dua has the power to transform your life. It's simple, yet profound. It's not about knowing all the answers or having everything figured out. It's about trusting in Allah's wisdom, knowing that He is the best of planners. No matter where you're stuck, no matter how difficult things may seem, this prayer is a reminder that Allah is with you, guiding you every step of the way. Let's dive into this powerful dua and see how it can bring the change you've been searching for. The dua I'm talking about is simple yet incredibly powerful, and it's found in the words of the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH. It's a prayer that encompasses both surrender and trust, a prayer that acknowledges Allah's supreme power over everything in our lives. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, taught us to say, Hasbunallahu, la ilaha Huwa. Allah is sufficient for us. There is no deity except Him. At first glance, this may seem like a simple phrase, but when you truly reflect on its meaning, you begin to realize how deeply transformative it can be. This dua is a declaration that Allah is enough for us, that He alone has the power to handle every aspect of our lives. It reminds us that we don't have to do everything ourselves. In fact, trying to control everything often leads to stress, burnout, and feelings of helplessness. But when you say this dua with sincerity, you're affirming that Allah is in control, that He knows what is best for you, and that no matter how tough things get, you're never alone. When Ahmed first came across this dua, he was at a crossroads in his life. He had just finished his studies but was unsure of which path to take next. He felt overwhelmed by the pressure to succeed, to figure out his career, his future, and everything in between. The uncertainty of the future weighed heavily on him, and no matter how much he tried to plan, things just didn't seem to fall into place. He would lie awake at night, consumed by worries about whether he was making the right choices, whether he was doing enough, and whether things would ever improve. But one day a friend shared this dua with him, telling him how it had helped them find peace in times of struggle. Skeptical yet desperate for change, Ahmed decided to start saying it regularly, especially in moments of doubt. At first it felt awkward. He wasn't used to letting go of control and trusting Allah fully, but the more he said it, the more he began to feel a shift. Slowly but surely, Ahmed started to feel lighter. His mind, which used to race with endless worries, began to quiet down. He found himself taking things one step at a time, no longer overwhelmed by the future, but focusing on what he could do right now, trusting that Allah was guiding him. By saying this dua, Ahmed wasn't just asking Allah for help, he was affirming his trust in Allah's plan, and in doing so he found clarity and peace. The path ahead didn't seem as uncertain anymore, because he knew that whatever came, he was in the best hands. It didn't mean that life suddenly became easy, but it did mean that he had the strength to move forward, knowing that Allah's wisdom would guide him. This is the power of saying Hasbunallahu la ilaha Huwa. It's more than just words, it's a shift in mindset. It's a reminder that when life gets overwhelming, we don't have to face it alone. When we put our trust in Allah, we are embracing the peace that comes with knowing that He is always enough. And as you begin to incorporate this dua into your daily routine, you'll start to notice that the burden of uncertainty and overthinking begins to lift. Instead of feeling stuck, you'll start to feel empowered, knowing that Allah is your source of strength, guidance, and ultimate success. As Ahmed continued to recite the dua, he noticed something else shifting within him. His perspective on challenges and setbacks. Where he once saw obstacles as roadblocks, he began to see them as opportunities for growth. With each passing day, the weight of uncertainty seemed lighter, and he no longer felt paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong decisions. He trusted that whatever happened, it was part of Allah's greater plan, and that was enough for him to keep moving forward with confidence. One day, Ahmed found himself in a difficult situation at work. A project he had been working on for months wasn't going as planned, and his boss was not pleased. The pressure built up, and for a moment, he felt that familiar anxiety creeping in. He could feel the old habit of overthinking starting to take hold, wondering if this mistake would cost him his job, questioning his worth, and imagining all sorts of negative outcomes. But then, he paused. Instead of getting lost in his thoughts, he took a deep breath and said to himself, Hasbunallahu la ilaha Huwa. In that moment, everything shifted. Instead of spiraling into worry, he remembered that Allah is sufficient for him. He couldn't control everything, but he could control his response. He reminded himself that his best efforts were in Allah's hands, and that trusting in Allah's plan was the key to finding peace in any situation. Ahmed then approached his boss with a clear mind, explaining the challenges he had faced and how he intended to fix the issue. His calm demeanor and sincere approach turned the situation around, and his boss appreciated his honesty and dedication. The true change didn't come from avoiding problems or wishing things were easier. It came from how Ahmed learned to face challenges with the trust that Allah would guide him through them, no matter how tough they seemed. With the constant reminder of Hasbunallahu la ilaha Huwa, he learned to move through life's obstacles with a heart full of peace, trusting that whatever the outcome, Allah's plan was always for the best. This dua doesn't just change how you face problems, it changes how you approach life itself. It teaches you to let go of the need to control everything, to stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. When you trust Allah and rely on Him fully, you begin to experience a deep sense of peace and security, knowing that no matter what happens, Allah is enough. If you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or uncertain about your next step, start making this dua a part of your daily routine. Let it be a reminder that you are never alone in your struggles. With Allah's help, you can face any challenge with confidence and trust, knowing that He is always with you. Say it with sincerity and watch how it begins to change your life. One step, one day, and one challenge at a time. As time passed, Ahmed continued to find peace and direction in his life through the consistent practice of reciting Hasbunallahu la ilaha Huwa. It became more than just a phrase. It became a mantra that guided his every action, giving him the strength to face whatever came his way. But what Ahmed learned next was even more profound. The true power of this dua isn't just in saying it, it's in believing it with all your heart and letting it shape the way you live. One evening, as Ahmed reflected on his journey, he realized something beautiful. He had spent so many years trying to figure things out on his own, relying on his own plans, his own abilities, and his own strength. But through this dua, he had come to understand that his reliance on Allah was the key to unlocking a life of peace, purpose, and fulfillment. Trusting Allah didn't mean that life would be free of struggles, but it meant that he no longer had to carry the burden alone. Every challenge, every setback, became an opportunity to grow stronger in his faith and his trust in Allah. Ahmed now understood that life is full of uncertainties, and the future will always be unknown. But with the power of Hasbunallahu la ilaha Huwa, he was no longer afraid of what lay ahead. He had learned to let go of his need to control every outcome and simply trust that Allah would guide him to what was best. Whether in moments of joy or hardship, Ahmed found peace in knowing that Allah is always there, providing him with what he needs, even when he can't see it. For Ahmed, And for anyone who truly believes in the power of this dua, it's a reminder that life is not about perfect control or perfect outcomes. It's about submitting to Allah's will with trust and confidence. With every challenge that came his way, Ahmed repeated this powerful prayer and felt the peace that followed. It wasn't an escape from life's difficulties, but a way to find strength and calm in the face of them. So if you're feeling lost, stuck, or overwhelmed, I encourage you to start saying this dua with sincerity. Let it be your reminder that no matter how hard life gets, Allah is sufficient for you. The peace, clarity, and strength that come from trusting in Him will not only change how you face your struggles, but it will change your entire perspective on life. Trust Allah with your heart and watch how everything begins to align, knowing that with Him you are never truly alone. Say it today and start the journey toward peace, purpose, and unwavering trust in Allah.